This is a brief video on how to correct your themes. When you open your corrected themes, you will see these comments in the margin. These are comments that acknowledge both errors and also things you've done well. And so you probably have 20 or 30 comments, maybe more, in your theme, just depending on how many errors you have or how many things you've done well. You want to correct each significant error and acknowledge other errors that perhaps you can't really correct. They're just so obvious, perhaps something with capitalization or whatever, but at least acknowledge them, and I'll show you how to do that as well. The first error here is with the title. This comma here doesn't need to be here. I also put in a comment that your title can be more helpful. So just keep this in mind for a minute, because I'm going to look at a few of these comments, and then we'll see how I've corrected them on the correction sheet. The second error was right here. You underlined the word fetched for some reason, which is part of this quotation. It's a good quotation, well introduced, just didn't need that. So it's just kind of a mechanical problem, and he's going to acknowledge this, as I'll show you in just a minute. Scroll down here to make sure we can see everything. The next problem, let's see. Yes, the next problem had to do with a punctuation error. He writes Huck on the other hand, and on the other hand should be enclosed in commas. And he also has an extra word here he doesn't need, and I'll show you in a minute how we fix that. Then there's a problem here with the word that shouldn't be capitalized. The word journey shouldn't be capitalized. He's going to acknowledge that as well. And then in his thesis here, he has a problem with a pronoun reference, otherwise it's a good sentence, and he's going to fix that as well. So some of these sentences he's going to copy wholesale and bring to the correction sheet. Some he's just going to acknowledge. So we'll look over now at the correction sheet that I've already set up. I've titled it John Doe _ corrections theme 1. Makes sense for a label that clarifies this from other corrections you'll have in your Dropbox later in the year. And so I've given it a heading, corrections for theme 1. And the first error, if you remember was with the title, and I changed that to Jim, the core of Huck's conscience. The second problem was the word fetch he had underlined here, and I just acknowledged here, don't underline words in quotations, just make sure you remember that. By writing it, it'll help you to remember it. The next sentence I copied from wholesale and corrected the comma error here, the comma error here, and then I took out a word that was here. So we fixed a few things in one fell swoop. There was another error, I think it was comment number 5. You can see the 5 here. Don't capitalize unnecessary words. He capitalized the word journey. And then 6, I corrected his thesis here, copied it, and put in Jim to clarify that one pronoun reference. You can see the comments are appearing over here. Some of them are, some of them aren't. That's fine. It'll help sort of later as well to remember some of these comments. And then here, number 9 is another correction, perhaps a little more complicated one. We'll take a look at that one. So I'm going to go back to the theme. And here's comment number 9. Yeah, this sentence here. This sentence has a few errors in it. I think I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 comments right over here that refer to this sentence. First of all, he needs a comma here after this introductory adverb clause. He also needs to avoid using you, second person, and there's some vague language here and a misspelled word here as well. So copy that, bring the whole sentence over here, and fix it. When Jim is introduced, comma, he is portrayed as a typical slave in Petersburg, but as the book progresses, he shows more virtuous characteristics. I'm trying to be a little more particular to clarify that than this early portrayal as a laughing stock. So I took care of all of that at one time here. And as you go through, you'll do your best again to acknowledge every problem in mechanics or with some of the content, perhaps. So because you can't rewrite the whole thing. But there will be some comments like introduce this quote here. This quotation wasn't introduced well. He just wrote Huck narrates. We need better context in that. So he'll add something here and put that on his correction sheet as well. So that's generally how you correct your themes. And there'll be another video about how to handle getting them signed, etc.